everyone, I hope you're all well. So as always, I asked you to send in any questions or worries that you've got at the moment if you're a trainee or an NQT to be like myself. I had lots and lots of questions this week, and they're all quite important issues that people have raised, so I don't want to kind of dismiss any of them. So what I've decided is that this week I will answer some of them, and then the ones I don't get round to doing I will then answer in my video for next week. Just remember, I am not here because I think I know everything, because I definitely don't. I've just finished my training year and I'm going into my NQT year in September. So I'm just here to give any kind of advice on things that have helped me this year, or things that I may be doing at the moment to prepare for next year. Okay, so I'll start with the NQT to be questions. So firstly, I've had lots of people saying that they're really worried that they're not going to be able to get a job before September. I think lots of people are trying at the moment, and I know that it's really, really difficult. Please don't worry, because you're not alone. Don't give up, because I'm sure that you will find the school for you. You've just got to keep going. I've done some posts about this, and I've also spoken about it in one of my previous videos. But basically, have a look at my posts. I will link them in this video. Hopefully they could give you a little bit of advice on your application, how to do well in your interview. I've also looked into kind of what the options are for your NQT year, and I found out that you've actually got 4 years to complete your NQT year, so you don't have to do it straight away. So if it happens that you can't find a job, it doesn't mean that you're not then going to be able to pass your NQT year, because you've still got time to do it. Also, going into supply teaching would be a really good option. Obviously it would mean you don't have your own class, but at least you're still getting some kind of teaching experience and some money. So I did supply TA work whilst I was at uni, and I know that Teaching Personnel is a really good supply company to go with. They have different places all around the UK, so they're quite a good national company to get in touch with if that's something that you're considering. Also, obviously it's not ideal, but you could go into being a TA if you can't get a teaching job, because then at least you're still in a school, you're still getting some experience. You could even be an HLTA, because you're actually qualified as a teacher. So my next worry is from Tia's Teaching NQT, and she said, can I remember how to teach? Going to have been such a long break. I completely agree. I feel the same. I won't have taught since just before February half term. So obviously, yeah, that's a long time to go from February until September without having actually taught anything. So I'm completely feeling the same. It is a little bit scary. However, I've spoken to friends that are teachers, and also some teachers at my school, and they've all said it's fine. It's like riding a bike, you're not going to forget. I think that once we start planning and preparing more for September, we'll hopefully start to feel a little bit better. I'm sure once we've got into the flow of getting into the planning again and getting our ideas, preparing our classrooms, hopefully we'll start to think, oh yeah, I can do this, and kind of start to get our confidence back. I would definitely suggest going into your school if you can at the moment, to maybe meet some of the children that are going to be in your class. I've done that this week, and I'm going to be doing it for the next few weeks before they break up, and for me it's definitely helped me to get to know those children a little bit better, find out a little bit more about my class as well, and just to talk to other teachers, and just to find out as much as possible to help me feel a little bit better about September. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing that if you can as well. The next kind of worry was from Miss D.Teach, and she has said, I hate the idea of being the useless NQT that annoyingly needs help with everything. Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of don't want to be a burden on anyone, but realistically we're not expected to know everything, so we're going to have a lot of questions, and I think that all the teachers in our school are going to know that. They're going to realise that we haven't had all of our training. We are going to be a bit clueless for some things, so we're going to have a lot of questions. So honestly, I think it's fine. Many of the teachers in schools will also have been NQT or trainee mentors, so I imagine they've got a lot of good advice to help us and be happy to be there to support us. It's also just better to ask rather than just worry, because if you're just worrying about things and not getting any answers, then you know, we're not helping ourselves then. So, you know, I think if we build good relationships with the teachers around us, especially with our mentor as well, then we'll have the confidence and we'll be able to approach them, and that will obviously make us feel a bit better and feel more prepared. So I'm now going to move on to the trainee to be questions. So the first one is from Miss K PGCE, and she has said, what does a typical PGCE student's life look like? So this is a really good question to have come up, because this week I did a live with Miss Wright's classroom, and on there training Miss B came on and she spoke about average kind of day in the life of her course. And then I spoke about how my PGC course was structured. So if you go and find that live, I will also link that in this video. That will kind of get a feel for what the day in the life of a PGC student is like. I've also done lots of posts about the structure of my course, including the uni side and also the placement side of it. So I did that with my friend Miss Alexander, so I will link all of those posts in this video as well for you to go and have a look at. So the next question is from Sian B Davies, and she has said, I completed my degree 7 years ago. Will I get support with writing assignments? How many did you do? So again, with the live that I just spoke about, if you find the link in this video, go back and watch that, because within me talking about my course structure, I spoke about the assignments that I did and kind of what they involved. But basically I did two 6,000 word essays, and then also one pre-course essay which was 2,000 words. We were kind of told that this kind of pre-course assignment was mainly for students that hadn't been at uni recently, so that it would help them to kind of get back into writing. And I'd had a year out to be a TA after my degree, so even for me it was really helpful just to kind of get back into the flow of academic writing again. Your course might have something similar to that, I don't know. When it comes to assignments, you will have lots of lectures on them. You do have a lot of help with it. We were shown previous examples of the essays that we were writing, which was really helpful. You are given really clear guidelines and shown like the criteria. So again, that really helps in kind of knowing how to structure it. At our uni, they had lots of meetings that were open for you to go and ask questions if you had any. So again, yeah, it's just really helpful in getting that kind of support if you need it. Also, your course mates are going to be really helpful. So, you know, if you're not sure about something or you want people to read things over, your course mates are there to do that. So it might be handy to swap essays if you want to, so you can compare and read one another's and help each other out that way. Really, I think that you will be able to get some kind of support. I think, yeah, just maybe ask for it and see what kind of things are available to you, because there might be extra things that would be helpful if you haven't written anything in the past few years. Okay, so the last kind of question is all kind of based around placements. I had lots of questions about things like top tips for placement, observation tips, managing nerves and behaviour management in observations, going into your final placement strong, and teaching for the first time. So I've kind of grouped all of that together for this last section because it's all kind of similar. And I've tagged all of you in this video, so I hope you'll see that I've kind of gone through and tried to answer your questions as best I can. Kind of in regards to observation, if your mentor is observing you, it's good to kind of go from what they want you to do with the lesson, just because then you're going alongside their ideas, and then in which case you'll probably do better because you're doing kind of the ideas that they want you to do. Ask if you need help. Definitely go and find like the subject lead for that subject. So I asked the maths lead at my school for a lot of help, and that definitely helped me because I then knew how to structure the lessons, I knew how to teach it. I went away with all of their ideas, and then that fitted exactly to how the school did it. So then obviously that helps you to do better in your observation. I would say don't go OTT. Don't worry about being too extravagant. With an observation lesson, you just kind of want it to run smoothly. You want everyone to be engaged, but obviously the bigger you kind of make it, the harder it could be to manage. So obviously you want to try new things, but I would say try new things in other lessons where you're not officially being observed. Make sure that in your observations and generally in lessons really, lots of questioning. time for the children to talk to one another, to get their own kind of ideas flowing. Make sure that it's interactive, so it's best to kind of not keep them just sat on the carpet the whole time or at their tables the whole time. Try and do something. Could be playing a game, it could be a nice starter or plenary, anything like that, just to keep it kind of interesting the whole way through. Make sure that you're asking a variety of children questions, so all different abilities, so that you're kind of doing that assessment throughout your lesson to kind of see how they're all getting on and what they're understanding. Make sure that your objectives are really clear, so that you're linking it to the national curriculum, and you're also making those objectives clear to the children so they know what they need to do to achieve and to progress in that lesson. Generally, just be really confident and enjoy it. Observations can be quite scary, but just remember, you know, it's only an hour of your life. To kind of stay calm in your observations, know your lesson really well. So it could be that you have a PowerPoint and some kind of slides on the board to kind of prompt you, as well as to perhaps read off of or to show children pictures, whatever it might be. That can really help you to keep focused and to kind of remember what's coming next and where you're going with things. Also, kind of if you want to put your question prompts on the board as well, that's really helpful, because then obviously they're there for you to read, but they're also there for the children all to see as well. They also have your plan in front of you. Just keep that on the desk or somewhere close by, so that if you are kind of panicking and thinking, oh, I don't really know what we're doing next, or I can't remember how to explain something, then at least it's nearby. You know, you can go to it if you need to read from it. If, you know, there's a chance where the children are talking and you quickly need to go and look at it, that is completely fine, so you can do that. Be really organised in advance for any of your lessons, obviously particularly observation lessons. So just make sure that everything's printed out before, you're really organised. It often helps to have everything set up, obviously, beforehand. So, you know, if you've got break time just before your observation, definitely make sure to use your time wisely. So all the sheets are out, all of their books are out ready, you've got the equipment, anything like that ready, just to make you feel a little bit more relaxed, so that when you're starting, you're not panicking that people haven't got the right sheet or they haven't got their books or something. I would say generally to stop you from panicking and stressing is to just ignore whoever is observing you. It's kind of, I feel like sometimes you want to like look at their face to see like if they're smiling or if they're kind of looking concerned, but I would just say kind of avoid it. Try not to make eye contact, try not to look at them, just to make it a bit easier for you, because otherwise, you know, if you see that they're looking a bit grumpy, then you're going to go into a sense of panic thinking, oh god, what am I doing wrong? But that's probably not the case. They're probably just concentrating and trying to, you know, write things down. But yeah, just generally I'd avoid looking at their face. Use your TA to your advantage. Make sure that they know what's happening in the lesson before you start. Kind of have a set thing for them to do, so either they're with a group or they're wandering around, whatever you need them to do, make sure that they know that in advance. In terms of behaviour management in any kind of lessons or observations, I would stick to their usual routines. So when you're coming into a class on placement, it's best to stick to what they already know. Sometimes it doesn't sit right with you, and sometimes you may think like, oh, it's not working, but generally it's going to be easier for you if you're kind of going alongside what your mentor's doing. You're kind of not coming in and disrupting everything and changing everything, because that's not going to help you in your observations. It's also probably not going to help the children that much. And obviously you can bring in some kind of new things if need be, but I would say generally kind of go along with what they're used to. Yeah, so just be on it with them. Ensure that you're using lots of positive praise to encourage good behaviours. Go along with, you know, your usual rewards for great answers, really good work, things like that. Just keep the standards really high. Make sure that you're really clear with what you need them to do. So just all instructions are really clear, so that everybody understands. In terms of organisation on your placement, I talked about that in one of my previous videos, so I will link that below so that you can kind of see my tips in terms of being organised in your placement. So I hope that's been helpful and has helped some of you that asked those questions, and hopefully anyone else that has the same kind of questions or worries at the moment. Like I say, the ones I haven't got round to doing, I will be doing in my next video. So I won't be asking for any more questions this week. I will just be directly answering the ones that I've already had. So yeah, thank you for watching.